The meeting started at midnight. No cameras, no recording devices, no witnesses. Just four tech titans and a plan so ambitious, so dangerous, that they swore to secrecy. But someone leaked what really happened in that room. Welcome to the Human Stories. Before we begin this powerful story of secret gathering, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button and help us reveal these hidden truths. The private mansion in Palo Alto was silent, completely isolated from the outside world, its glass walls protected by advanced security systems, a fortress that hid its guests from prying eyes. Tonight, the world's four most powerful men would gather here, and what they would discuss would be revolutionary enough to change the course of human history. Elon Musk was the first to arrive. He parked his Tesla in the mansion's private garage and entered through a side door that no one saw. 11:45 p.m. Right on time, as always. He carried only a small tablet and a metallic briefcase. The expression on his face reflected that familiar determination from before SpaceX rocket launches. 10 minutes later, Mark Zuckerberg arrived in an ordinary Honda Civic. No one would expect Meta's CEO to arrive in such a modest vehicle. But tonight's purpose wasn't to attract attention. Quite the opposite. It was to remain invisible. Mark also entered through the same side door, greeting Elon with silent acknowledgement. Jeff Bezos was third. He had used an Amazon delivery van. A genius camouflage. Who would suspect that inside a delivery van was one of the world's richest men? Bezos smiled slightly as he exited the van. This was a game to him, but one with consequences that weren't games. Finally, Tim Cook arrived. Even Apple's CEO had chosen to appear completely anonymous. He had used an Uber. The driver would never know who his passenger was. Tim completely shut off his phone as he entered the mansion. Tonight, there would be no connection to the outside world. At exactly midnight, the four men gathered in the mansion's private meeting room. The room was specially designed for sound isolation. No electronic devices were working. On the table were only old-fashioned paper, pens, and 4 encrypted files. Elon stood up and began to speak. "Gentlemen," he said, his usual energy now deeper, more serious. "The reason we're here tonight is the most critical turning point humanity has faced. Going to Mars with SpaceX, sustainable energy with Tesla, these are just the beginning. The real issue is Homo sapiens' next evolutionary step." Mark looked up. "Our metaverse projects serve the same purpose too, expanding human consciousness with virtual reality. But we need to go far beyond that." Jeff opened his file. "Space colonization with Blue Origin, global data infrastructure with AWS. Everything is preparation for humanity's next phase. But without coordination, there will be chaos." Tim had been listening most quietly. Finally, he spoke. "You must have seen Apple's neural interface projects. Brain-computer integration is no longer science fiction. It's reality. And if this technology falls into the wrong hands," Elon continued, "that's exactly why we're here. 4 separate companies, 4 separate visions, but one ultimate goal: humanity's survival and evolution. And this requires coordinated effort." Mark opened his tablet. A complex diagram appeared on the screen. "What we call Project Genesis is this: 3-phase implementation. Phase 1, global infrastructure preparation. Phase 2, public conditioning and acceptance. Phase 3, full integration." "Phase 1 has already begun," said Jeff. AWS cloud systems, Tesla's global charging network, Apple's device ecosystem, Meta's social platforms, all connected, all monitored, all ready for the next step. Tim pointed to the screen. "For Phase 2, the public needs to be gradually prepared, normalizing virtual reality, integrating AI assistance into daily life, presenting brain-computer interfaces as medical necessity." Elon stood up, walked toward the window. "Phase 3 is complete transformation, full merger of human consciousness with the digital realm, overcoming the limitations of the physical body, making death optional." Silence. The 4 men were absorbing the weight of these words. Mark was the first to speak. "Timeline? 20 years, said Elon. Mars colony will be operational, neural interfaces will be mainstream, global infrastructure will be completely integrated, and then humanity will be ready for the next step. Jeff pulled out a document from his file. Have we thought about the legal framework? How will governments react to this? Tim smiled. Governments are already dependent on our technologies. No communication without Apple, no commerce without Amazon, no sustainable energy without Tesla, no social connection without Meta. We're not asking for permission, we're informing about inevitability. Elon returned to the table. That's why we need a secret society. Open coordination would be suspicious, but synchronized evolution is essential. Each of us works in our own domain toward the same ultimate goal. What will the society's name be? Asked Mark. Elon thought. Nexus, he said, the connection point between present humanity and future evolution. Jeff nodded with approval. Nexus. I like it. Meeting frequency? Monthly, said Tim. Always different location, always maximum secrecy. And communication never through digital channels, only face-to-face. Mark closed his tablet. How will the decision-making process work? 4 people. 4 different opinions. Elon took out a small syringe-shaped device and placed it on the table. Consensus through enhanced understanding. This microchip will be implanted in each of us. We'll be able to share thoughts directly. No lies, no hidden agendas, perfect coordination. Tim looked at the device. Already tested? On myself, said Elon. 3 months ago, enhanced cognitive abilities, perfect memory recall, and most importantly, ability to connect directly with other chip holders. Jeff leaned forward. Side effects? None detected, but the benefits? Incredible. Problem-solving speed increased by 300%, unlimited multitasking capabilities, and optimized emotional response for decision-making. Mark hesitated. And if someone discovers? They won't, said Tim with certainty. The chip is completely undetectable with current technology, and even if detected, explainable as a medical device for neurological condition. Elon opened the briefcase on the table. Inside were 4 identical chips. Tonight, we become more than business partners. We become connected. Silence fell over the room again. The 4 men realized the weight of the decision. This wasn't just a business partnership. This was the first step of human evolution, and they would be the first subjects of this evolution. Jeff was the first to extend his hand. For humanity's future, Tim was second. For evolution, Mark third. For transcendence, Elon last. For nexus, the procedure was simple but irreversible. Each chip was microsurgically implanted into a specific area of the user's brain. Thanks to advanced nanotechnology, installation was painless and immediate. When implantation was completed, the connection between the 4 men was instant. Thoughts could now be shared without words, emotions were directly transmitted, and plans could now be executed with perfect coordination. Let's finalize Phase 1 operations, said Elon, but words were no longer necessary. The others had already received his thoughts. From Jeff's mind came, Amazon's logistics network global expansion completed. Distribution center in every major city, every device trackable, every purchase recorded. Tim's consciousness added, Apple's neural interface patent secured. Medical trials will begin within 6 months. Public conditioning through disability assistance narrative. Mark's thoughts flowed. Metaverse adoption rate target numbers hit. VR normalization successful. Next step, mandatory virtual meetings for all major corporations. Elon's vision completed the circle. SpaceX Mars mission scheduled for 2026. Public presentation as humanitarian mission, but actual purpose backup civilization establishment. If Earth evolution fails, Mars colony becomes humanity's second chance. Connection through chips was perfect. No miscommunication, no hidden agendas, no betrayal possible. They were no longer 4 separate individuals. They were a single entity with 4 bodies, working toward a single goal. Timeline acceleration possible? Tim's thought emerged. Risk too high, Jeff responded mentally. Public conditioning needs gradual approach. Sudden changes create resistance. Mark added, social media algorithms already prepared for Phase 2. Gradually increasing pro-technology, pro-enhancement content. Anti-technology voices systematically suppressed. Elon's mind projected images. Neuralink human trials will begin next year. Initial focus medical applications, but full cognitive enhancement capabilities ready for implementation. Physical meeting had become unnecessary. Mental connection was sufficient, but for tradition, they decided to close the session formally. Nexus established, said Elon aloud. Nexus operational, confirmed the others, until next synchronization. The chips remained activated, but intensity reduced for daily operations. Full connection would only activate during designated meeting times or emergency situations. The four men left the mansion the same way they came. Different vehicles, different routes, different times, but they would never truly be alone again. The connection was permanent. In the following weeks, subtle changes began. Tesla's new models had mysterious communication capabilities. Apple's latest devices included unexplained neural monitoring features. Amazon's delivery network patterns shifted, optimizing for future logistics requirements. Meta's algorithms became more sophisticated, guiding public opinion toward technology acceptance. The public noticed nothing. Changes were too gradual, too subtle, too apparently beneficial. Enhanced convenience, improved efficiency, better user experience. Who would complain? But for those who knew where to look, patterns emerged. The coordination level between technology companies was suspicious. Product release timing was too perfect. Market movements were too synchronized. Dr. Sarah Chen, a cybersecurity professor at MIT, was the first to become suspicious. Her research focused on behavior patterns of technology giants, and the data from the last 6 months was full of impossible coincidences. This level of coordination, she told her research partner, requires direct communication. But there's no evidence of traditional channels, email, phone, video calls, nothing. As research went deeper, patterns became more obvious. Tesla's charging station locations were optimal to Apple Store proximity. Amazon warehouses were suspiciously close to Meta data centers. SpaceX launches were perfectly timed with other companies' major announcements. Either the greatest business coincidence in history, said Dr. Chen, or something else entirely. And then the breakthrough came. A leaked document, source unknown, authenticity unverifiable, but content terrifying. The document confirmed Nexus's existence, meeting locations, discussion topics, implementation timeline, everything Dr. Chen suspected, and much more. Project Genesis, she read from the document, 3-phase human evolution implementation. Phase 1, infrastructure preparation, completed. Phase 2, public conditioning, in progress. Phase 3, full integration, scheduled 2030. Dr. Chen's hands trembled as she read. This wasn't science fiction. These were blueprints for an actual plan for humanity's forced evolution. The document's last page contained a warning. Any individuals discovering Nexus operations will be identified through global monitoring systems. Countermeasures will be implemented to ensure project continuity. Dr. Chen realized it was already too late. Her research had undoubtedly been detected. Monitoring systems were everywhere. Phones, computers, cars, even smart home devices. Escape was impossible. But she found courage. Humanity deserved to know the truth, to have choice. Not forced evolution, but informed consent. She copied all her research to USB drives and sent them to multiple journalists. Anonymous tips to investigative reporters, social media posts from burner accounts. She distributed evidence everywhere. But within hours, strange things happened. News articles disappeared. Social media posts were removed. Journalists suddenly lost interest. USB drives mysteriously corrupted. Dr. Chen's own devices began malfunctioning. Internet connection intermittent. Email accounts locked. Phone calls dropped. In a final attempt, she prepared printed copies and tried to send them by physical mail. But when she went to the post office, the postal worker told her the system was down. Maintenance issues. Try again tomorrow. Tomorrow never came for Dr. Chen. A car accident, tragic and sudden. Brake failure, investigation inconclusive. Security cameras malfunctioned by chance. No witnesses. Nexus's power was absolute. Opposition was impossible. Evolution would proceed according to plan. Phase 2 accelerated. Public conditioning intensified. AI assistance became more persuasive. Social media algorithms more subtle, product features more addictive, resistance to technology portrayed as mental illness, enhancement portrayed as necessity. And secretly, Phase 3 preparations began. Neural implant factory construction, global satellite network completion, consciousness transfer protocol testing. By 2030, there would be no choice left. Evolution would be mandatory, resistance futile. Humanity would transcend whether willing or not. Nexus succeeded because the plan was perfect, coordination was absolute, power was unlimited, and most importantly, the public never saw it coming. A single night's decision by 4 men determined the entire future of the species. Democracy ended that night. The illusion of free will was maintained, but in reality, humanity's path was already chosen. And now, the secrets of that night are being revealed for the first time. Truth is finally emerging. But is it too late? Is Nexus's plan too advanced to stop? The answers to these questions will become clear in the coming years. Humanity's fate depends on the coordination of 4 minds and the vision of a single society. Nexus exists. The plan is active. Evolution is inevitable. The question is simply this: are you ready for the next step, or will you choose resistance? Time has been decided. The wheels of the future are in motion, and the 4 men, still connected, still coordinating, still pushing humanity toward a destiny that they alone determined. This story is fiction, but the possibility is real. Technology's power is unlimited. Coordination is possible, and choice is always ours. Now, I ask you, have you encountered such a technology elite? Have you noticed signs of secret coordination? Share your thoughts in the comments, because at The Human Stories, we believe truth needs to be heard. Subscribe for more powerful stories. And remember, the future's shape depends on awareness and choices. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story. Until then, if you see evidence of secret meetings, know that technology's power is always growing.